Deputy Le Cornu, your tweet has caused a great deal of controversy on the internet, social media, state media. Here's your chance to explain it.
Well, I'd like to thank you and Voice for Children blog for allowing me the opportunity to give a free and fair comment on explanation as to what happened.
So what has happened?
Well, it's been misinterpreted, and of course the first thing I have to say, the way in which it's been misinterpreted, is that it was a personal attack on Deputy Christina Moore. It was never intended as such, and if it has been taken that way, I fully apologise to Deputy Christina Moore, her family and her supporters.
That's good. I'm sure they would appreciate it, because it certainly has caused such a controversy. You know, it was pretty, I don't know, a lot of people say misplaced, irresponsible, sexist. Can you try and explain how do you answer this? Well,
we have to understand that it's been misconstrued deliberately by sections of the political right, by the Facebook bloggers and by politicians themselves, in an attempt to discredit me. Now, I understand that, that's all's fair in love and war and politics. But I think the innuendo that it is the comments I made are somehow sexist, I would like to refer to my own record of defence of women's rights in this island, and in particular draw attention to the fact that in the early 90s I was involved with a group called Pro-Choice, which campaigned for the women's right to choose on abortion. That campaign supported the Public Health Department. It was ultimately successful. It was a hard-fought campaign, but it won, and it fundamentally improved women's rights in the island. And that took 30 years to get into place, when it was in place in the UK in 1967.
That's all well and good, but to be fair, you did say she is faking it like all good women do. What do you mean by all good women do? What is that? Was that...
Well, you have to understand, if anyone looks at my blog, district1sthelia.blogspot.com, you'll see where I write, and you'll note that I have quite an acerbic fashion of writing. And also I like to use irony, but irony is not understood in Jersey, in the Jersey political culture. Let me answer that. And as a consequence, it's misunderstood frequently. And I write ironically, and it's part of English culture to write ironically, but it's not understood. So when I write ironically, often people take it quite literally when they shouldn't, because it's not meant in that fashion.
So with hindsight, I suppose it is now, would you agree with a lot of people that it was pretty misplaced and irresponsible? Can you understand the people who are saying that? Here you are standing on a platform of you know, anti-sexism and on women's rights, but here at the same time you're trying to say, well, she's faking it like all good women do. Can you understand the anger people will have for that, and the apparent hypocrisy? I understand your irony, but can you understand that people will...
Well, I can see that those who look at it on face value, and particularly when they're assisted by the mainstream media to look at it in a particular way, they will see it on the face value rather than actually look at it in the broader context of what I was actually trying to achieve politically. I was making a major political comment. I was not attacking an individual.
Okay, now I was shown a bit of the Jersey Evening Post today, where it seemed, it implied, the way I read it anyway, that you are basically saying that that Deputy Moore is faking her cancer. Is that what you're saying?
Most definitely not. That is one of the misconstructions, misconstruals, if you like, of the mainstream media. The Jersey Evening Post have got it dead wrong. And why have they got it dead wrong? Because they've taken it from Facebook and Jersey political blogging, sorry, Facebook sites, not the bloggers, because the bloggers are very good, but right-wing bloggers who like to make those sort of comments which are designed to hurt. They're trolls, and there is one particular site on Facebook that seems to spend its time doing nothing but attacking Deputy Le Cornu, and they are, some of them, fascists.
So, for the record, the record does need to be put straight here, because you are not in any way, shape or form suggesting that the deputy could have faked her illness.
Most certainly not.
Most certainly.
The point I want to make, and perhaps we can come on to that, is the bigger political picture.
What is the bigger political picture?
In St Peter, the present deputy, Christina Moore, has been absent from the States for 18 months. She has been drawing her salary, but she has not been performing her duties in the States. She tells us she's been doing constituency work from home. The issue is really, why now, after 18 months' absence, is she sufficiently recovered to suddenly stand at an election which is coming up in October? 5 weeks in advance, she appears and tells us that she is well enough. I believe that her political backers have persuaded her, perhaps against the best medical advice.
I think today in the Jersey Evening Post, her oncologist has said that she is fit to stand for election.
Well, I hope she is, but it does look very unusual that she has been absent for those 18 months, not doing her job.
Is it 18 months? Is it as long as 18 months?
It's around about that.
Yeah. And so, I don't know if I'm reading you right here. Are you saying, if you like, that she's faking her recovery? Are you trying to say that, look, she's saying that
no,
she's...
No, not faking the recovery. There's nothing personal about it. It's simply that the political issue. There is a political battle going on here. Let's understand that Deputy Christina Moore is on the political right. I am on the political right, left, for social justice and for reform. Deputy Christina Moore is part of the Osif Balash Gorst party, which runs the island. She supports the government and is uncritical of their policies. She is on the right.
Yeah.
So it's a fair comment to ask, why does a politician of the right suddenly appear and want to stand for election when they haven't been available for the previous 18 months to retain that seat?
But I'm struggling to see how that's a political thing, because surely somebody from the left can recover from an illness, can they not? Is it really a left and right thing? How does it make it a right thing?
Well, it is a political issue. And I'm on the left criticising, saying that a politician of the right is probably being pressurised by the political establishment, the one-party state that runs this island, to stand for election so that they can keep that seat in St Peter's. Now, that may not be doing justice to the voters and electors in that parish. They would need to think hard, I would have thought, about whether she's capable of performing her duty. And also, do they actually want another right-winger?
Well, she did win the election by a landslide. In fairness to her, she did have the full support, a great amount of support in her parish. So I would say yes, they do want her. With hindsight, your tweet that's caused all this controversy. In hindsight, would you say that it was, perhaps you shouldn't have said it? It was probably a little bit too, something you shouldn't have said, you shouldn't have spoken out about, something you should have...
Well, it might be considered as acerbic, but I was trying to make a political point, a valid political point, which has been misconstrued, unfortunately, deliberately, to make it as a personal criticism and attack. It wasn't ever intended that way. It's a valid political comment to say, as I've explained, that I think here is a right-wing politician not being entirely honest with the electorate and standing for election to retain the seat for the right, the political right.
Obviously, we can't say that she's not being. We don't know whether she's being entirely honest or not. I don't think it's fair to say that that she's being dishonest in any way. I think that might be a bit of a strong thing to say. But I think the question what I want to get back to here is, are there certain things that are probably distasteful that can't be that shouldn't be said?
Well, in general, we know that the social media is somewhat rather unnuanced, that comments can be made and then misconstrued by all sorts of people because they don't actually hear the tone of voice in which it is said. And it's often very short, and Twitter is only 120 characters, so that means that it's got to be quite punchy. And it's not an essay on the issue.
Because here's the thing, actually. In your tweet, you didn't mention Deputy Moore or cancer.
You're quite right, because I didn't wish to make it personal, so I didn't mention her name. I used the word she, which can be misconstrued.
It could be Mrs. Le Cornu. It could be she could be Mrs. Le Cornu.
No. I mean, I had a particular target in mind, but I used my language in such a way that it was not designed to be personal.
So who personalised this then?
The media, I think, and the bloggers. Because immediately on my Twitter, I got lots of right-wing followers who then immediately began to sort of tweeting nasty, very personal and nasty comments. And I've had many nasty comments about me, my family and my relationships on my blog and tweeted to me. And those are never taken into account.
Because it does seem pretty, you spoke about irony earlier, it does seem a little bit, you didn't mention cancer, you didn't mention Christina Moore, but somebody did, and that person wasn't you. No,
that's quite right. The JP has taken that up, and I think that they have got it from the blogs, and who writes the blogs, well, those Twitter and
yeah, you need Facebook. To differentiate here.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's the Facebook comments, anonymous often, or with fake names. We know that they're probably the same person, and they're coming from the same source, from the political right, implying all sorts of things which are not and were never intended. But that's how the game is played politically in Jersey. The way that policies are denigrated is by denigrating the individual. I'm a left-winger. I'm a social campaigner. I fight for social justice. The establishment hates it. They would like to have me out of the States. But the supporters who put me there know that I am prepared to fight. I don't back down. I stand my ground. When the first salvo comes over, I fight. I don't hide. And I will continue to do that in the States on behalf of the interests that I represent.
So to wrap up here, Deputy, is it fair to say you stand by your tweet?
I don't intend to take it down as somehow embarrassing. It's got a valid political point, and I hope that is where the debate will now move to, as to what is happening politically in St. Peter's, how will that election pan out, who will stand for election to fight on different policies from those of Deputy Christina Moore. And I hope that someone will stand to offer alternative political analysis, alternative politics, because I don't want to see another right-winger in the States. The States of Jersey is full of upper middle class people. It is disconnected from the ordinary working people, and it does not reflect their interests. That's why the States is held in utter contempt by a large majority of this island.
So, shall we say, let's deep. You're saying that it wasn't you that personalised this; it was the state media and their supporters that personalised this. Are you saying this isn't a personal attack on?
Most certainly not. I know Christina Moore not well. She's a very pleasant and amiable person, and she bears no malice, and I bear no malice against her. but she is a representative of the political right. She acts on their behalf and was elected as such and votes accordingly with the Council of Ministers to, I would argue, disadvantage the social interests that I represent in the States, the working people of District 1, St Helier.
Last but not least, this is obviously with the media you've been getting from this. In fact, the state media have been trying to contact you for comment. The BBC State Radio, the Jersey Evening Post have wanted to get a comment from you. You haven't been available.
No, I've deliberately ignored them, and the reason is because I don't trust them to give me a full and fair opportunity to explain my case. That's why I've come to you, because I know that you will allow me to do so, but you'll also be critical, and I think you've been that. I haven't had an easy ride with you, but I hope that those watching will judge accordingly. And the intention is clearly to discredit me so that the electors in District 1 St Helier will not vote for me. I would say I want their confidence again that they gave me in March, that I will continue to fight for the interests of working people in the States. I will raise the difficult questions and I will vote accordingly to ensure that there is social justice in this island, because this island is facing a £100 million deficit created by our Treasury Minister, and that is going to be filled with the increase in GST and taxes, primarily from working people, because they will not tax the rich.
Again, I understand, getting back just quickly, we want to need to wrap this up. It's my fault because more questions keep coming into my head. You're going to suffer for this tweet politically. It looks like it with all the mainstream.
Well, you're correct. I've been attacked by the Jersey Evening Post. I'm on the front page as a pariah figure, the enemy of the people. I've been sort of supposedly officially expelled from the political party with which I formed. And yes, it's going to be difficult, but I will be knocking the doors and explaining to the electors and asking them for the same confidence, because they know, and I hope will understand, that I will fight for them. And I don't flinch when the first salvo comes over. I don't hide. I don't run away.
Well, Deputy Le Cornu, I appreciate this in-depth interview, and I'm quite sure this is going to rumble on. Sorry, please.
Yeah, well, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to comment, because I knew I wouldn't get a fair opportunity with the mainstream media. They would certainly be seeking to misinterpret and pursue, let's say, an agenda.
We'll leave it there.
Thank you very much.